Together we step into a new future. The road we take will determine the survival of the species. We met this world through the waters of the womb, whereas those waters of our own Mother Earth now go polluted by companies defiling her natural beauty. They violate her body by taking from her what is not theirs, asserting dominance over her delicate balance, insisting upon her submission when investing in more bulldozing and further deforestation. Their actions tear at her flesh without care, daring to leave scars there on her breast, torn without repair, as if defacing her in the name of making a fortune and accruing currency somehow made it fair. While the ruining of our planet's ecosystem proceeds, our need for still more from her feeds the greed of our war machine, leading to constant conflict in the world of souls whose freedoms have been stolen, only to have then been sold back to them, justified by corporate lies based on a story told of a world full of countless cravings and insatiable needs, whose people remain tame when satisfied by the illusion of gain they feel through the pursuit of endless acts of consumption. Now, while at the same time they fight over the means to afford products only offered at a limited supply, so while the rest of the world suffers and starves, the wealthiest 1% will spend their money on paid vacations to visit the other side of the sky, going out to orbit, seeing the Earth on flyby, only there to view the stars. Though down here below, under the glowing curtain of a now toxified carbon dioxide-filled sky, we the people strive and struggle to survive. While our children go hungry, only because we have nothing left at the end of the year to feed them, when the seeds we as farmers now plant in our fields won't naturally proceed any more than just one single cycle of the season. So we who are still alive must ask why. Whereas it is clear to see that our food supply has been corporately commodified. Plant life in the 21st century is indeed now genetically modified, designed to die and not regenerate our gardens that were once our lifeline. Full of vital and healthy fruit are now covered in pesticides and corrupted at the root. For those that don't know, Monsanto does not grow food, it manufactures its own form of falsified scarcity in order to maximize strategic economic advantage and maintain critical crowd control. Now I know it's true, we have lost our dignity as a human family. We rate our work daily according to the confines of capitalism, only exchanging our labor to be able to afford occasional favor on the part of corporations offered to us through sale tags on Black Friday and 3-day weekends predicated on holidays named after slaveholders and historical figures that engaged in acts of cultural genocide. Yeah, indeed our freedoms are being held hostage by our own homeland security, while our rights go slowly eroded by the power of private interest groups through unregulated campaign finance, propped up by the popularizing of propaganda pundits outspoken in the favor of falsified facts in their daily displays of disinformation. Broadcasted and brought to you in HD by Comcast and Clear Channel, as heard on Fox 5 o'clock News, as we the sleeping citizenry tune in to view today's most historic distortion of the truth. And whereas even this very evening we each may sit in our chair, indeed honestly seeking clarity through greater perspective, there, when staring at the screen bearing witness to this evening's World Report, as brought to us live by those agents of the ministry in charge of the shaping of public opinion, we ourselves must claim our own authority over our hearts and minds. And while it is true that our civilization is currently on a collision course towards far worse destruction, we the people of the planet, both young and old, can take hold of the reins by guiding our human family towards greater heights of social and emotional well-being through the strengthening of our own local and global communities, every day swearing to rebuild those bonds of human unity we ourselves at this pivotal point in history have lost sight of. Through those dark and deeply troubling turbulent times, do not despair nor waver, for now is the moment that we must take hands and stand together, having confidence in the strength and extraordinary power of the human spirit, knowing clearly that the truth of the wild still beats freely beneath our hearts, reminding us each even now to never forget the sound of a pure note when struck well with actual integrity. For inside the homes of our bodies, there in the depths of our flesh and bone, we each host those ghosts of our ancestors. Their voices there to remind us to carry on with care, echoing encouragement to all of us down over the ages. These whispers of life and wisdom are always there to be heard, like a breeze blowing just beneath the surface, enchanting with prayer our very will to survive, teaching us to honor our never-ending heritage, acknowledging all species as nothing less than a family of survivors. Whereas from here, now we all must commit to thrive. Now one might ask, though now we know, how do we get there? The answer resides deep inside each of us, my friends, heard through our own call to action. Indeed, the fuel required in order to ignite our collective hearts of fire will not be stolen from our earth in the forms of either oil or gas. Instead, it will be drawn up from beneath through our own sacred sources of love and inner courage. The power that we the people must one day soon learn to wield will be measured through our own acts of collective effectiveness and success when working cooperatively together in community. Our methods towards creating for ourselves a more safe and healthy planet will require great acts of international reconciliation made between all of those that our world currently knows to be only enemies and foes. As our world's ever-growing climate justice movement each day reaches further across additional generational divides, the increasingly critical state of our world's environmental crisis worsens. Therefore, we the people must only show our support in favor of the most reliable leaders, and as well only vote for those members of the state that publicly empathize with the views of climate justice and who promise to implement changes structurally from their particular position of authority. Whereas here now, we as a people must stay committed to our mission, set to protect our planet's future while remaining steadfast in our own resolve to change. We all the people of the earth standing firm to our virtues of both love and justice. Our inspiration is drawn from the ageless wells of resilience, wisdom, and ancestral understanding. Our movement is full of solutions, spoken loudly through each of our own unique forms of creativity, and as well witnessed invest in our movement's collective efforts as a whole, thereby generating greater positive impact through solidarity, coalition building, and unified action, all in support of the name of social justice and putting an end to climate change. And while we still may today live here in this strange day and age, we struggle for answers there on the razor's edge while still standing tall, fearlessly gazing into the center of history's long approaching perfect storm. Our human family's greatest strength will, though in the end, be our species' saving grace. And therefore it goes without saying, the fact remains the deepest truth able to be known by any of us in this life resides deep within each of us, abiding timelessly there inside at the center of our hearts and minds, alive like our own miracles seen when we smile there shining from behind our eyes. This light, indeed a beacon without limit, burns bright there at the sacred center of our core. Its promise of a peace-filled paradigm will soon to rise, I believe, like a spire. Indeed here to lead the way, the beauty that lives beneath our fear will one day wake up to claim its rightful place here on earth, making its way to the front of the stage as the spirit of the age, to carry us as a species through the deluge. My message is not one of war conflict. Instead, I find myself to be merely a poet here to address the various forms of both torment and disorder. I engage with my audience in real time, and relentless forms of elevated debate arise in order to, in my own way, help to save the day. Therefore, before I finish sharing these thoughts with you here, it's important that I say, what is true there at the root of life can be neither ignored nor disproved. For the light we bring down with us somehow as a child at birth remains here with us on earth, holding us as close to one another as its own form of gravity. So here we are together, bearing witness as one, standing tall, here in the heart of the matter. There is where we remember that our own inner light is still able to be seen like sparks of fire, even when under the cover of night, there through the shadows shining bright from behind our eyes every time we smile. For it is the light of life that we as a family share. Found unified glory will no longer be one of countrymen, but instead that of kin. Indeed, our new future will be built upon the foundations of both love and truth. I believe soon we will prevail through these days of lost hopes, chaos and confusion, but only once we have all turned our crippling concerns into some form of concrete contribution, will we then return together here as one human family, and as well then as friends, entering to the gates of the garden, finally finding our peace the day we welcome home the long-awaited returning spirit of human dignity. Is I keep seeing like a distant apparition, there flying over our futures, fields of freedom. Such fields of freedom. Such fields of freedom.